Well, there are 3 games left in the regular season, so we're going to find out who's good any minute now. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. I wish my Packers were in the top 5. Grossi, and today we are going to be breaking down and ranking the top 10 teams heading into week 16 of this NFL season. And I feel like this season, once December started to hit, it started going very, very quickly. As I mentioned in the intro, we got 3 freaking games left. It is coming down to the wire. The AFC is nearly set. The only thing they got to figure out is seeding and, of course, the AFC North, but who knows what's going on in that division. And as for the NFC, it remains as competitive as ever. We got to figure out what's going on with the NFC South. We got to see what's going on with the North, and maybe that 7th spot is going to change, though. Hopefully, it is not going to eliminate the Packers, but that's neither here nor there. Before we get into today's rankings, I want to do a big shout out and thank you to you all. We are going to hit 947,000 subscribers today, which means that we are 3,000 away from our goal of 950K by the end of 2025, because once January hits, it is going to be a full-on sprint to the million. So thank you so much for supporting this channel. It is completely and totally free. There are no sponsors here. It is free to subscribe, so feel free to click that button, and I appreciate the hell out of you. Starting off with our honorable mentions, and we only got 3 today. I'm gonna start off with the Green Bay mother-loving Packers. The Packers taking a tumble off the power rankings this week, and it honestly has very little to do with the actual loss to the Broncos. The Packers and the Broncos, they put on a really great game this past Sunday until the 3rd quarter when everything started to fall apart for the Packers. And I'm not just talking about the score, I'm also talking about their actual players. Christian Watson got injured. Thankfully, that doesn't seem to be serious as he is considered day-to-day. Evan Williams got hurt and he can be missing a couple of weeks. Zach Tom got hurt and thankfully there's no structural damage to his knee. And of course, the big injury is to Micah Parsons, who tore his ACL in that 3rd quarter against the Broncos. And this is why the Packers are currently an honorable mention, because yes, it is a harsh fall for the Packers. But to be completely honest with you, I don't know what this team's identity, especially the defense, is going to look like without Micah Parsons. He has had 12.5 sacks for the Packers this season, which by far leads the team. He leads the team in pressures, so much so that he's gotten more pressures than almost every single other player on the defense combined. And yeah, he's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to replace. That doesn't mean I don't think the Packers are competitive or anything like that. But I have to see what this defense looks like now without their star player, because you need guys like Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness to be able to step up. Lucas Van Ness just returned from an injury that he's been battling all season, so we'll see what happens with him. And Rashawn Gary, he hasn't had a sack in 7 games, so it has been a hot minute. And when you look at the secondary and how they performed against the Broncos, Bo Nix sliced him up. When the pass rush was not able to get after him, and again, the Broncos have a very good offensive line, he was able to dice up that secondary, getting over 300 yards, scoring 4 touchdowns on the day, and that concerns me going forward with only 3 games left in the regular season. So again, I still think the Packers are a good team. I still think they're a contender, and they still have a very good shot to make the postseason, though I do think that their ceiling has been reduced a bit, losing Micah Parsons, as it makes sense. He's their best defensive player. I have to see what the Packers look like before I put them back into the power rankings. A win over the Bears on Saturday would go a very long way and shoot them back up into the power rankings. But as of right now, they fall to the 7 seed in the NFC, and let's just hope they can go up from here. Then our second honorable mention, you gotta shout out the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, I'm not ready to put you back in the power rankings just yet, but it looked pretty good this past Sunday as you were able to blow the doors off of the Raiders, shutting them out. The defense played well. The offense was efficient. Saquon Barkley had himself a good day, and it feels like these were the Eagles of old. Now, here's a big caveat. it's against the Raiders, who are one of the worst teams in football. So I'm not going to give the Eagles their medals just yet. They're coming off a 3-game losing streak, and so thankfully they were able to stop that skid. And luckily for them, also the Cowboys lost this past Sunday, who now have a 1% chance of making the postseason. So right now, the Eagles are sitting pretty. They are likely going to wrap up the NFC East, being the first back-to-back winner in that division in God knows how long. And so the Eagles, they get an honorable mention. Let's see them take on a team like the Bills in a couple of weeks, and we'll see if they're going to be back up in these power rankings. And then finally, I got to do one more shout out, and that is to the purple incarnation of Satan, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, they of course are eliminated from the playoffs. That happened this past Sunday, but I got to give a shout out to them because they were able to go on the road, and for the second week in a row, JJ McCarthy looked pretty good. It has been a tumultuous season for the purple incarnation of Satan, as JJ McCarthy either was injured or when he played, he didn't look that great. But to put together 2 good performances in a row, and especially on primetime going against the Cowboys, who I know they don't have the greatest defense, but hey, they were able to knock off the Eagles and the Chiefs in the same week, and that was not very long ago. And so while this season is going to be over for them in 3 games, the fact that JJ McCarthy has been able to develop and progress, this is what you want to see in the final 3 games of the season. And if JJ is able to string together another few good performances, I think Vikings fans are going to be in a much better position than where they were halfway through this season. So because of that, I got to give him a shout out. Though if JJ McCarthy starts to suck, I surely will not mind. Starting off with number 10, you got the LA Chargers. The Chargers finally making their way out of the honorable mention section and into the power rankings. The Chargers had themselves one hell of a Sunday, as not only did they win on the road in Arrowhead, but they put an end to the Chiefs' playoff dreams.
Okay. All right. You think you can do this to me? I'm the man up in this piece. I run shit. You just live here.
And the Chargers have been damn impressive. Their defense has been playing really damn well. And on top of that, their offensive line is atrocious. And yet Justin Herbert is still able to honestly survive back there. And the fact that they're undefeated in the AFC West says a lot. And the fact that they might not even win the division, even though they're undefeated, is pretty damn wild. But the Chargers, they have some momentum. Being able to win in Arrowhead is a difficult task for any team. And the fact that they were able to do this when the Chiefs were playing for their literal playoff lives, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Now, I know Patrick Mahomes did wind up getting hurt, and Gardner Minshew threw that interception while they were in field goal range, which could have possibly tied the game, and who knows what would have happened in overtime. But the Chargers, I still think, deserve to be on these power rankings. I still have a ton of concerns about their offensive line and the safety of Justin Herbert going forward. But we're about to find out how good the Chargers actually are, as they do not have an easy stretch of games coming up. But for right now, the Chargers, welcome to the power rankings. Please just protect Justin Herbert. Number 9, you got the Houston Texans. The Texans. Oh, God, I've been singing their praises for the past month, and now they remain in the power rankings as they were able to keep their winning streak rolling, and that offense is starting to pick up some momentum.
This pleases me.
And we've been talking about the Texans for a while here. Their defense is one of, if not the best in football, and we were just waiting to see if that offense could catch up. And just like the Chargers, the Texans, they've been through a tumultuous season as well. Their offensive line has not been great. Joe Mixon never came back, so their run game was very much lacking this season. And of course, they still have no Tank Dell. But CJ Stroud coming back from injury, he has looked really good, and they were able to put on a clinic against the Arizona Cardinals, who have been a feisty team this season. And so the fact that they were able to beat them by more than one score, they deserve some credit, but more importantly, that offense is really starting to get going. And I feel like the Texans are one of those teams that if they are able to make the postseason, which right now they sit as the 7 seed, nobody is going to want to play against that defense. And if that offense, like we've been talking about, is able to consistently put up points, they could be a very dangerous team and maybe even a dark horse for the Super Bowl. But as of right now, they land squarely at number 9 after knocking off the Cardinals. And let's see if the Strouds can keep on rolling. Number 8, you got the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers getting another win over the Tennessee Titans, who, listen, shout out Cam Ward. He was able to put together another respectful game, was able to put some points on the board. But the 49ers got yet another win this season, and now there are some rumblings that Fred Warner could be trying to make a return for the playoffs.
I'm going to Mordor alone.
Of course you are. And I'm coming with you.
I swear to God, if they eliminate the Packers again. But the 49ers, they deserve a ton of credit for what they've been able to do this season. The amount of injuries that they have had to deal with. Brandon Ayuk, which who knows what's going on with that situation. That just is a mess. But Fred Warner, Bosa, both out on the defense, and those are star defensive players. But the fact that their defense can continuously look good, Robert Saleh deserves a ton of credit. And taking a look at the offense, Brock Purdy put together yet another good game, and CMC, he's a freaking stud. And so for the 49ers, even though they're notching up all of these wins, the Seahawks and Rams cannot stop winning. Though, thankfully for the 49ers, they play each other on Thursday, so at least one of them has to lose, unless you're going to have a tie. And there still is a path for the 49ers not only to win the NFC West, but theoretically, they could still be the first seed in the NFC. And considering in Week 16, I would have never thought this was a possibility after all of those injuries, yeah, Shanahan deserves a whole lot of pats on the back. And for that, the 49ers remain at number 8 in the power rankings. Number 7, you got the Buffalo Bills. The Bills moving on up in the power rankings after knocking off the New England Patriots. They were down 21, but they had the Pats right where they wanted them. And it's yet another amazing second half performance by Josh Allen and that Bills offense, which has happened multiple times throughout this season. And at some point, you just got to tip their hat to them. Going into Gillette and also having the largest comeback in Gillette history, that's pretty damn impressive. And there have been plenty of times where the Bills have stumbled this season and the Patriots looked like they were going to run away with the division. But now the AFC East is still up for contention. And the Bills, they seem like a wild card team because you never know with Josh Allen. That offense can be explosive. Of course, you have James Cook. But the fact that now the Chiefs are eliminated from the postseason, who has been their big bad wolf all of these years, who knows? It is going to be a very interesting postseason in the AFC. And so for now, the Bills, they move up in the power rankings after a big win over their division rival. They got some interesting games coming up, including against the Eagles in a couple of weeks, so we will see how good they are against that very good defense. But for the Bills, they beat the Patriots, the Chiefs lose. Now let's see if they can go all the way this time. Number 6, you got the Chicago Bears. The Bears, whew, they put on a clinic against the Cleveland Browns, who I know they're starting Shadur Sanders, but he had a very nice game last week. And I have to imagine the Browns thought they could at least put up a fight against the Bears.
I immediately regret this decision.
They were wrong. They were very, very wrong. Caleb Williams, good God, that one throw to DJ Moore was... That was really damn impressive. And it feels like Caleb Williams has done that throughout this season. And as I have said, because I've been giving the Bears flowers throughout this year, they have developed and progressed as a team, whether it's coaching, whether it's QB play, whether it's in the trenches. And now that that defense is healthy, yeah, they were able to stomp the ever-living crap out of the Cleveland Browns. Imagine losing to the Browns. Couldn't be me. But now they have a date with destiny on Saturday as they're going to be taking on the Green Bay Packers minus Micah Parsons, who was able to get a ton of pressure on Caleb Williams the first time that they played just a couple weeks ago. And the Bears are sitting pretty. They're currently second in the NFC and are number 1 in the NFC North. And if they want a shot to win that division, they're going to have to knock off the Packers in Chicago on primetime. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. But right now, the Bears, they are rolling, bouncing back after their loss to the Packers. And let's see if they can take the reins in the NFC North. But for me, I really hope not. Number 5, you got the evil empire, the New England Patriots. The Patriots taking a bit of a tumble this week after losing to the Buffalo Bills, but it wasn't just the fact that they lost, it was how they lost. They were up 21 points, they blew that lead in the second half, they had no pass rush whatsoever, and I gotta say, Drake May did not have his best game in that loss.
Pardon me, Mr. Perfect! I guess I forgot that you never ever make a mistake!
I'm sorry for the blasphemy, but listen, he's got to stop throwing so damn high. And listen, I'm not going to overreact to the Patriots. I still think they are a very good football team. It is just a bit concerning that they were not able to get after Josh Allen, and on top of that, their offense did not look like it was in sync in that second half. You definitely give credit to the Bills defense, but I expected a little bit more from that New England Patriots offense. The one bright spot, though, on that offense was Travion Henderson, who put up nearly 150 yards on the ground, as he has been a stud for them every single time that he gets the ball, though that might be a lie because sometimes he'll just get a yard or he'll get 50 yards, and there's very little in between. But the Patriots are still in the driver's seat to win the AFC East. They do have the Ravens next week, who are coming off a big win, so that will be a very interesting matchup that got flexed into Sunday Night Football. But then they end the season against the Jets and the Dolphins. So two very winnable games and potentially one challenging game. I still think the Patriots are going to win that division, though their chances at the 1 seed may slip away as the Broncos now have a game over them. So we'll see if they're going to be able to climb back in and potentially recapture that 1 seed, as the Broncos definitely do not have an easy schedule going forward. But for now, the Patriots drop to number 5. Number 4, look who's in the top 5. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars. Listen, I know it's against the Jets, but the Jets defense, even without Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, they've been playing some pretty solid football over these past few weeks. Though they can't get an interception, they just fired their defensive coordinator, much to the cheers of all Jets fans everywhere. Trevor Lawrence put on one hell of a performance this past Sunday. And it seems as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, the Jaguars are finally starting to figure out their identity.
He lives in you. Remember who you are. Remember who you are.
And that identity is Trevor frickin' Lawrence. 6 touchdowns on Sunday. He was their leading rusher, had a touchdown on the ground. Threw 5 effing touchdowns, and Trevor Lawrence was just spectacular. And considering that like a month ago, people were writing off Trevor Lawrence, he was throwing interceptions. He has not thrown an interception in the past 3 games, and now they are sitting firmly at the 3 seed in the AFC and atop the AFC South, though the Texans are not going away just yet. The Jaguars, yeah, Liam Cohen deserves a lot of credit. That defense was playing really damn well, and I do know it's against the Jets, and the Jaguars don't have a walk in the park to finish off their schedule, because they're going to have to go up against the Broncos next week, which should be an excellent football game. But as of right now, Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars, they are on a heater. Let's see if that streak can continue as they take on Denver. But as of right now, they're number 4. Number 3, you got the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks remain at number 3 in these power rankings because Phillip Rivers, he got a lot of attention this past week, and he managed to keep it pretty damn close against Seattle.
Hey, everybody, an old man's talking.
Grandpa's the name.
That was some interesting game, Seahawks. While their defense continued to play very, very well, their offense, not much to be done. All of their points came off the foot of Myers as they just kicked a whole bunch of field goals to eventually win that football game. And listen, when we've been talking about the Seahawks, that's kind of been their one Achilles heel and the one thing that a lot of Seattle fans are worried about. It's Sam Darnold and how that offense can operate, because there are some times when it is very hot and cold. When Sam Darnold is playing well, that offense is usually playing well, especially when they could supplement it with a run game. However, when Sam Darnold is not playing his best football, that's when they look like they are vulnerable. And now the Seahawks have a very important matchup. It's the rematch against the LA Rams this Thursday, being played in Seattle. And taking a look at how the Rams have been playing, I'm a little bit worried for Seattle, as I think they're going to need a better performance from Sam Darnold and also not have Zach Charbonnet be their leading rusher with only 31 yards. So let's see if they get a balanced attack against the Rams. And if not, then they're not going to be able to win the NFC West, though they still will be a playoff team and a dangerous one. But we're about to see how good the Seattle Seahawks really are. But for right now, they remain at number 3. Number 2, you got the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, whoo! Oh, a lot of Bo-leavers after that one, and it was a phenomenal week for the Broncos. Not only did the Chiefs get eliminated from the playoffs, but the Broncos, they trying to clinch that number 1 seed.
Do you hear that? It's the winds of change.
The Broncos punch in their ticket to the postseason after their win, their 11th straight win, knocking off the Packers. And even though it was a very close game in that first half and they were down 9 in that third quarter, they were able to rally back. They were able to get 2 interceptions from Jordan Love, who has been playing very well during Toyotathon. It was a great play for that first interception with Patrick Surtain. That defense really clamped down and was getting a ton of pressure on Jordan Love when Zach Tom went down, as they were getting pressure 55% of the time that Jordan Love was dropping back, because that's that defensive front. It is damn good. On top of that, talk about the other side of the ball. Their offensive line was phenomenal. While Micah Parsons was getting pressure, as soon as he went down, it was a walk in the park for them, as they are playing like the best offensive line in football. And a whole lot of credit has to go to Bo Nix, as he put on his best performance this season, throwing for 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards. And right now, the Broncos, they are currently the 1 seed in the AFC. The Patriots lost, but they do not have an easy schedule in those last 3 games. They got to go against the Jaguars, then they got to face the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes, which should be a bit easier, but then their last game is against the LA Chargers, which who knows, if the Jaguars are able to knock off the Broncos, that Week 18 game may have a lot at stake. But for right now, the Broncos, they're number 1 in the AFC, number 2 in the power rankings, and a whole lot of people are going to start to believe. And number 1, remaining in the top spot, you got the LA Rams. The Rams, they were able to get a big win over the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford putting together yet another great performance. Puka Nacua lit it up, and Kyron Williams, he put together a really nice game on the ground. And I know there was some controversy because Parkinson was definitely down short of the goal line, but it didn't seem like that Lions defense could stop the Rams offense at all. And Jared Goff, he had himself a really nice day. He had 3 freaking touchdowns. However, the Rams, they have been playing like one of the more balanced teams in football. And like I said with the Seahawks, they have a very important game this Thursday in Seattle. And the Rams have a lot on the line, currently holding on to that number 1 seed in the NFC. A win over the Seahawks would definitely put some distance between them and the rest of the conference. But for right now, Stafford is back on track, getting that MVP nod, and we'll see how damn good the Rams are this Thursday night. And so just to recap here, at number 1, you got the Rams, 2 Broncos, 3 Seahawks, 4 Jaguars, 5 Patriots, 6 Bears, 7 Bills, 8 49ers, 9 Texans, and 10 Chargers. But let me know who you think should be on this list, who should be off of it. Hopefully the Packers find their way back on it next week. But let me know. You guys saw me at TomGrossiComedy.com, and a big shout and thank you to all the Patrons and YouTube members for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for watching, folks. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.